going to be talking to you guys about my experience at the Coco Rocha modeling camp. So this is long overdue. I went to the camp in January, at the end of January. So today I just want to tell you guys a little more about what we did at the camp, how I got prepared, what were the requirements, things of that nature, and then at the end I'll answer some questions. If you wanted to see more about like the actual camp, please be sure to check out part 1 and part 2. Okay, so I guess I would start with how did I even find the camp. So I followed a lady on Instagram. I had saw that she completed the camp, and so she told me more about it and encouraged me to apply. So to get into the camp, you send in your application and Coco Rocha will choose who gets to go for each group. So I learned about the camp probably in May of 2021, and I ended up applying in June for the January cohort. They have, whenever you send in your interest email, or I forgot how I applied exactly, they give you camp dates that are open, and they are pretty far out. So I chose to go with the camp that was like 6 or 7 months in the future so I could save up. And then next I'll talk about how much the camp costs. So the camp in full is $2,500. So that's why I decided to wait a while before I actually ended up going. They have 3 different payment plans. I chose payment plan C. So the first payment plan A is just a one-time $2,500 payment. All of these include credit card fees, which are about 3% unless you do a bank wire transfer. So for the option B, for camps that are more than 110 days away, you can do 2 payments, do 50 days after you sign your contract. And then finally for contract C, for camps that are more than 5 months away, you can do 3 payments that are due in full 100 days after you sign your contract in full. So I did option C, like I said before, and I did the wire transfers to avoid those extra fees, but in all I paid the $2,500. So there aren't any other like required payments. That includes your hotel, your training, your camp, your food, and also the like glam team and your professionally edited pictures. So it costs a lot, but I'll get more into what we did at the camp. I feel like it was totally worth it. So in the contract that they give us, it was pretty basic things such as we won't resell the information, but wear a mask while we're at camp and things like that. So it's a pretty simple contract. Before the camp, they give you your schedule, a list of things that you should bring, and they kind of like lay out how the camp will go already so you know what to expect. Before we got to the camp, we also had to pick 3 outfit options for our final shoot that we would send to Coco, and she would approve herself like which one she wanted you to bring with you. On the first day of the camp, when you arrive, you would have a sit down with Coco. She would ask you about you show her your modeling portfolio, and then kind of talk about where your head is for the shoot. For me personally, I told her that a lot of my shoots that I had done on my own were pretty basic glam shoots, like very proper. So I kind of wanted to do something adjacent to that. Not adjacent, opposite from that. So I showed her like the outfit that she approved for me to bring, and then I told her what I was thinking, and so she gave me the themes of grunge. And so basically that is the theme that I was working around for the final shoot. So on the first day we got there, we did kind of have to like jam pack a lot of our classes. We had 2 types of classes. The first one being sit down discussions when you take notes. So Coco led some of the classes, as well as her husband James. They also have like a bunch of like assistants to help with the camp and stuff. Some of them have even gone through the camp, so if you're interested in that, like, they're totally open to that. So some of the topics that we learned about were dynamic posing, branding, social media strategy, contracts and agencies, and a lot more. So I would say my favorite class was the one about the contracts. There's a lot of like sneaky ways that you can really get screwed over with entertainment contracts, and I'll also have a story time for you guys. I've been working on like getting signed to an agency, so expect a horror story coming soon. But we also had classes where we were in it was a more active class. So for dynamic posing and runway walks, of course, we went to another room where she gave us more information about the industry norm, about the industry's history and how that came to be. And then she would give us technique, and then we would practice it. So when she says bring comfortable heels, she means it, because we were on our feet for a while and it got ugly in there. Then also another one of my favorite classes was the dynamic posing and the art of emoting. So she gave us the task where we had to listen to a song, figure out what the song is trying to get you to feel, and then we would have to act that out. It was really awkward and funny at first. I'm glad that I was all the way in the front. She taught us that modeling is a performance, and so that is what really sticks out to a client. So that really altered the way that I thought about posing, and I'll get more into that in the questions later on. I would say that the classes when we were actually like doing more action stuff, Coco is really like a coach. I feel like me playing sports for my whole life, it was familiar to me, but she does mention that some people get like offended sometimes. So if you're expecting that, then it doesn't come off as rude or anything. But the classes were really fun. I mentioned before that we had to jam pack a lot of our classes. So the schedule was like really altered because it was snowing in New York and a lot of other places. So most of the people who were attending the camp, their flights got rescheduled. So we were arriving on the second day, and so we have 3 full days of camp, and then the last day is kind of like an early day where everybody just does their shoot. We have a last discussion, and then everybody kind of gets ready to go home. So we had to scoot everything up and squish it into the schedule. What else? So I guess talk about the shoot day. So the night before, when we were doing the art of emoting and the dynamic posing course, we also got our assignment for shoot day. We had to come up with a mood board and a playlist. So the playlist would help keep everyone on time for the shoot. So you had to choose 4 songs that went with your theme, and then those 4 songs were going to be the length of your shoot for your full body pictures. And so the area that we were in, it was very spaced out, so it was all social distance, and if you weren't getting your makeup done, then you had to have your mask on, or if you weren't taking your photos, then you had to have your mask on. So the way that it was set up was basically like 2 people getting hair done, 2 people getting makeup done, and then a person taking their full body, and then somebody taking their beauty shots. And so the night before, she basically told us we had to make the mood board and the playlist. We didn't get done till probably like 11 something that night, and she asked for volunteers for who wanted to go first in the morning. And I have this horrible tick where I just always volunteer. So I had just gotten there that morning. We had classes all day. It was like 11, and then I was gonna have my shoot at 8 in the morning, and I needed to come up with a playlist and a mood board in that time. So I don't know why I did that to myself, but I kind of feel like I like getting stuff over with. So I will put it on screen what my mood board was, and then also I'll link the playlist down below if you guys are interested. So then we shared our inspiration with Coco and then the makeup and the hair team, and so they basically went off of that and chose our final look and our styles. And then, so I just wanted to mention that Coco was coaching everyone throughout. Like, she was running around, talking to everyone, checking in, and things like that. And then also, it was very nice because she also encouraged all of us to take pictures and videos for each other. So it was really nice touch. And it was a very supportive environment. Although she did tell stories about how, you know, models can be very competitive and cutthroat to a scary point even, she really fostered an environment where we really were, you know, supportive of each other, and those are connections that we'll have, you know, moving forward. Lastly, I guess I can get into some questions that I got. I only had a couple. So someone asked, like, is there a height requirement? So since this is just a training camp, there are no requirements. You know, there were people who looked like very different. It was very diverse group of women. It was all women though, but men can apply as well, I believe. Well, not even women. There were some kids there too. But yeah, so did you travel to participate? I did travel. I went from Ohio to New York, and the camp is held in New York. I'm not sure if they'll ever like expand it, but as of now, the only place you can attend is New York. So there are people who came from all over the world, really, and now that traveling is open back up, like anybody can attend the camp. And then lastly, the last thing was someone asked, like, do you ever feel nervous posing? How do you work around that? So I feel that and Coco talks about this, a lot of beginning models, they overthink their poses and then they move too fast. So basically with the dynamic posing course, she taught us how to move our body. You basically want to make all your movements through your shoulders. You want to focus on, and you want to have a conversation beforehand with the photographer. What's the goal of the shoot? What is the end goal, so that you can have something in mind, and then also having that communication and being coachable. So I still get nervous, and it's more so me being concerned with, like, am I gonna get a good shot? So, you know, those other things that I talked about, as well as just like studying on it. Coco has a book about, like, she has a bunch of poses that she's done. You can look at magazines, Pinterest, things like that to find inspiration and just practice in the mirror. So as far as like my review, I guess I would say the cons really didn't have anything to do with the camp itself, but the weather and all of the delays, it made it like a very kind of like exhausting experience. Even though I had a lot of fun, I learned a lot, it was a lot jam-packed into those days. So I would recommend, maybe, I don't know, because you can't just avoid snow. But maybe if you could go like more in the springtime or the summertime, just so you can avoid that possibly happening, I would recommend that. And then we didn't get to do our themed dinner nights because like there was just absolutely no time for it. I don't think it's necessary to participate. Like, I bought all new outfits for all of the themed dinner nights and I didn't wear any of them. So, you know, and that would be more so a con for myself. I spent too much money on bringing things that I didn't even need. You really just need things to practice posing, practice your runway walk, and then the day of the shoot. Like, you don't need to bring a bunch of stuff. So, and then pros, Overall, it was a really great experience. I had a lot of fun. It was nice meeting other models and having somebody to talk to while you're on this journey. It increased my confidence about my prospects as modeling for a career, just because I feel a lot more informed, and I feel like I have the confidence to be patient, and that's going to save me a lot of heartache in the long run. And so now I can think of modeling as a long-term career investment instead of maybe like what I was on the way to, which is like, it's so competitive that I just need to jump on any opportunity that presents itself. And so yeah, like basically like the awareness that I have, like you really can't put a price on it, because it just makes it so much easier to engage with the industry when you have your own foot to stand on. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Public service announcement: Instagram deleted my account.
Oh my god, corny. Man, boo. Tomato, tomato, tomato. I'm throwing tomato.
So be sure to follow me on my new account. And then for the next video, I will be telling you guys about my agency horror story experience. I will see you guys in the next one.
Well, miss, I guess I'll be on my way now. You just give me a